Hello? Yes, this is he. This is You'll Never Talk Alone. Hi, welcome to this week's preview episode. I'm your host, Alex Lebel, joined for the first time in a long time by star teacher 2017, Zach Osborne.
What's up?
How are you doing, Zach?
I'm great, man.
And back again, Andrew Ainsworth. Andrew, are you doing well?
I'm here.
And Zach is back from sunny Spain, much like Fernando Torres. How was that trip?
It was fantastic, and it's honestly a little depressing to be back here and not still in Spain. It was very nice.
Yeah, you said you stayed right across the street from the Calderon.
That's right. Yeah, it was pretty cool to be right there, to see it every day. I was there, but also kind of sad that it's just sitting there empty, waiting to be torn down. But still,
Yeah.
It was cool. It was cool to see.
Well, that's awesome. Andrew, did you go anywhere fun?
Did I go? No, I didn't. I've been to Nashville for a long time. I don't think I've left town in a while. I went to Oxford like a month and a half ago to go see the Ole Miss Rebels play football. I don't know if y'all have heard of them, but other than that, Tennessee, I'm here.
Was it one of the good days to be in Oxford, or one of the not so fun days to be watching an Ole Miss football game?
We played Alabama and we lost by 59. So
The first 4 minutes were great.
yeah, the first 7 seconds. But this is a soccer podcast, so let's not get sad about football.
That's true. What we call football here in America is anything but. And it hurts just like many of our players, because we are coming into this match with a bit of an injury crisis. Although people haven't technically been ruled out, we're looking at Sadio Mane with a fractured thumb, had surgery today. Mo Salah with a hamstring strain. There were some fun things with the translation where people were talking about the back of the thigh, like he reached into his leg and held the back of his thigh muscle as he was coming off. So that was weird. Let's see who else we got. Naby Keita, similar issue. James Milner hurt in the last match, potentially coming back, but don't think so. And Virgil van Dijk also nursing that bruised ribs injury. So Zach, how sick are international breaks are you?
Oh, they're terrible. What's the point?
Yeah, so you agree with Klopp that the Nations League is the most useless, worthless competition in soccer?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it always, we joke about how Liverpool seems to be one of the unluckiest teams when it comes to injuries during international breaks, but it's true. And it's almost getting to the point of parody that we have this many injuries to deal with now. It's dumb. Why? Yeah, why?
And why is it always us? And it doesn't make any sense. I think I saw the stat that 35% of the matches missed in the past 4 years were caused by injuries on international break, which is just insane.
That's infuriating.
That number is alarmingly high. I just don't understand how it keeps happening. But Andrew, we do have some people coming back to fitness. We've got Adam Lallana in line to play against Huddersfield. We've got Daniel Sturridge, recently crowned September Player of the Month, available. We've got Shaqiri, who came off of the 2 Switzerland matches looking good. Do you feel like we're finally deep enough as a squad to cover the injury crisis that we always seem to have after an international break?
I mean, I think we're obviously deeper. We've got a lot more talent that we can bring in, but it's like all of it's just getting injured,
Yeah.
So we lose Milner, and then the guy who would come in for him gets injured, and so now we're relying on Adam Lallana, and we haven't had to do that in a long time. It's like we're going back to the 13-14 season with these players that we're bringing in, but these would be the best players in that 13-14 season. So I feel better about it. We're playing Huddersfield. I'm not that worried. But But I think this is the perfect time to bring up the James Milner stat of the week.
I agree.
So it has to do with injuries. James Milner at Liverpool has missed more games this year than he did ever for Manchester City. He missed 3 games for Manchester City and 6 games for Newcastle before that. So that's 9 games due to injury in 45 years.
Yeah.
And then in the couple of years that he's been with Liverpool, he's missed like 12 games or something like that. So it's got to be us. There's something about Liverpool. It's just unlucky.
You're the resident lover of James Milner on this podcast. Did you just invent a spell at Newcastle for James Milner?
No, not Newcastle, Leeds.
He was at Newcastle.
No, he was at Newcastle. Yeah.
I thought he was at Aston Villa.
He was at both.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. I missed his entire spell at Newcastle somehow.
It was like 07, 08.
Yeah, he was still kind of
Something
underground
like
at
that.
that point.
Yeah, just people didn't really know about him.
Yeah. But there's one person who did, and that person is Andrew Ainsworth.
James Evans, my hero. But yes, so we are unlucky. We've got players we can bring in to beat Huddersfield, so I'm not as worried. But at the same time, it's got to stop.
Yeah, it seems like it's a combination of us playing high intensity and us just being extremely unlucky, because it happened before Klopp came in as well. We just had everyone break all the time. So I don't know what kind of curse was put on Liverpool, but someone needs to take it off. It's kind of like the Gutmann curse at Benfica, where he said you'll never win another European Cup again, and they haven't, and lost in dramatic fashion. But there were some good things to come out of the international break. I don't know if y'all were able to watch any of the matches for the Nations League and the friendlies. I know, Zach, you were traveling.
Yeah, I really didn't see anything.
Andrew, did you see any of them? Andrew had to step away for a second.
No, sorry, I accidentally hit mute on my mic. You can ask me that again.
Andrew, did you see any of the Nations League matches or the friendlies?
No, not really. I saw highlights from all of them, but I was, I didn't really care. I didn't care. It doesn't matter. Those games are stupid. They try to give them a reason, but it just doesn't work.
I agree. They're really dumb, but I will say I was impressed with Gini Wijnaldum versus Germany. Although Germany is worse than Gibraltar this year, so you can't really be too impressed by him bossing it in midfield against them. But it was nice to see him kind of play the way that we know he can play, and especially with all these injuries, it would be very useful for us if he would come out of his shell like that and take people on, because the goal he scored was wonderful. And it's something that we haven't really seen him do for us, because he tends to play within himself. And we need him to come out of his shell, since it's just him and Adam Lallana and Jordan Henderson and Fabinho fit to play in midfield. So we've got these injuries, and international break obviously is a downtime for journalists, newspapers everywhere. But there have been some interesting transfer rumors coming up, and I think the two things kind of go hand in hand with something I'll touch on in a second. But we've been linked with Lorenzo Insigne, we've been linked with Memphis Depay, and we've been linked with Kerem Demirbay. And I think that couples with the fact that Sadio Mane has not signed that contract extension that everyone seems to say that he will be signing next week, kind of every week. Zach, are you a little worried that he hasn't signed that? And if so, do you think the names we're seeing linked to replace him potentially? Not saying he's going anywhere, and we definitely don't want him to go anywhere because we love him, but are those two just kind of feeding off each other, or do you think where there's smoke, there's fire?
I'm choosing to not be alarmist about this and to stay as chill as possible when it comes to this story. Yeah. However, it really wouldn't surprise me if at some point Sadio Mane decides he wants to move on. I obviously don't want that, but I don't know if this is just me reading into it too much, but he always has kind of struck me as the type of player who is very ambitious and knows that when he's playing at 100%, he could be among the best in the world. You know, we've heard Real Madrid links in the past, and he kind of strikes me as the player who would jump at that chance and not really think twice. However, I really hope he'll sign the extension and stay with us.
Agreed. Andrew, do you think that the names being linked to come in, like Insigne and Depay and Demirbay, do you think that's anything? Would you be happy to see any of those players? I mean, obviously, yes, but do you think they'd fit with our style? And isn't it great to be linked with that caliber of player and not like Lee Cattermole?
Well, it's always great when you aren't having to like get off the bottom feeder clubs and like feel like you're just getting the best player and you don't know if they actually have that sort of, they don't have the ceiling that we would want out of a lot of players that we buy. But I don't know if I'm excited about Memphis Depay. I don't know how he would fit in. I don't know too much about his game, but he doesn't excite me. Insigne, I feel like would be too many dollars. A $500 million, maybe $600 million. I don't know. That's $1 million is too many to me, but he's great. I would take him in a heartbeat if we pay for him. And I don't know anything about Demirbay, so that's up to you, resident tactician.
Who's the guy that I read we were linked with from? He's a young Italian midfielder, also linked with AC Milan.
Oh yeah, Nicolo Barella.
Dude. What's his story?
He is fantastic. I mean, he's a big fish in a small pond already at Cagliari. Let's hope that Ragnar Klavan is putting good words, speaking sweet nothings into his ear about his time at Liverpool because they're now teammates. But he is got a great eye for goal, is very creative, creates a lot of space for himself, and will drive at defenses, box to box in the games that I've seen him, gets up and down the field. Played really well for Italy in these past two friendlies. And he's young. He's one of the brightest talents in the entire country. And they're expecting him to be a pillar of the national team for a while. So he would be one I would definitely love to come to Liverpool. I think he would fit the bill well. And I think he'd offer something that we don't really have as much. He'll take those chances. And same with Demirbay. He's kind of that attacking mid kind of midfielder. He'd play that one of the three so we don't have a completely bland midfield. And it makes sense to be linked with him, especially after the performances. So yeah, and either of those players would welcome them. But as people who have listened to this before, I'm always pro sign everybody, as people can tell from my manager modes. Additionally, Insigne would be great. Kind of feel like if we beat Napoli on the return leg in the Champions League, that price is going to skyrocket. It will be inversely proportional to his actual height. So we'll see if that is on the table. He's a Napoli boy. Don't see him leaving unless something extraordinary happens. And Depay, I think a lot of people will remember his time at United as not being very good because it wasn't. But he's really grown as a player in France. And he's a lot more versatile. He's been played a lot as an out-and-out striker, so he could potentially be work in tandem with Bobby, cover Bobby, play out on the wing, either side. So I would definitely welcome him as well. And he and Genie seem to get along, and we'd basically be like Africa, Netherlands, FC, just with this core of Africans and these core of Dutch players. So, but yeah, exciting times. Rumor mill, always fun. We'll see what happens in January. Our record of signing players in January is non-existent, so not really expecting anybody to come in. But before we get to that, let's talk. Yeah, do what?
Yeah, you mentioned not signing anyone ever in January. Andy Carroll.
Oh yeah, how could I forget our Lord record signing?
Coutinho.
That's true, but and Sturridge, but that was many years ago. Before the fall.
And even more moons ago.
Yeah. But we do have a match against Huddersfield this weekend, playing Klopp's best man, and least best men in the league. Andrew, what do you expect from this match? Because everyone's hurt and they suck. So what do you expect to see happen?
I think everyone's hurt and all the players, not all of them, but the players that we have coming in, I'm not like super enthusiastic about. I'm fine with it in these games that we have coming up. I expect to struggle a little bit, and
Like you personally expect to struggle?
I will. I'm saying I expect them to struggle a
Okay.
bit, and then I will struggle also watching the game because I don't think we're gonna have a lot of creativity. But other than that, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. We'll be fine. It's fine. Don't worry. Just all of our players are injured.
Zach, are you as confident? I mean, this is kind of a game that we didn't last year, but this is the type of game where we would drop points. And having not played very well in the past few matches leading up to the international break, are you at all worried, or are you as confident as Andrew?
Oddly, in a way, I'm excited to see a new group of players that we probably haven't seen all get a run out or get a start together this season, because in a way things were starting to feel stale and as if we were running out of ideas leading up to the international break. And I'm not saying that like whoever we throw out there this weekend should be our preferred team, but perhaps some new faces will get out there. They will play themselves into the game, have some impressive performances, and perhaps spur on the guys that we're going to need to come back firing on all cylinders after they, get over these injuries. I would like to see Sturridge get some extended playing time. Shaqiri, who knows? Maybe Lallana will prove me wrong. But in a way, I'm trying to be excited about seeing some guys we haven't seen a lot of, and I'm interested to see how that plays into the overall team dynamic and whether we can kind of get ourselves out of this slump we've been in lately.
Yeah, and I mean, you've seen with some of the players that competition has lit a fire under them. I mentioned it before, but Gini again transformed his game once other midfielders came in. So if they do play well, and if we do trounce Huddersfield like we should, that might spur a competitive nature in the people that will be sitting out and thinking, "Oh boy, when I come back, I gotta up my game. I actually need to shoot on target because if I don't do that, then I'm going to lose my place." But with all these injuries, let's just go quick fire with a few things. I'll ask both of you who you think will start in midfield, and then I'll list kind of everyone that is hurt, and you tell me if you think they'll actually play or not. So, Zach, why don't we start with you? Who do you think is going to be our midfield three?
Pass.
That's something that they do. I didn't ask you what you think they're going to do. I asked who you thought would be doing.
No, I meant I defer to someone else because I don't know.
All right, Andrew, what do you want to step up in place of Zach's cowardice?
Okay. I think we'll start Jordan Henderson, Adam Lallana, and
Alberto Aquilani. All right, yeah, rounding that out from the blast from the past.
I mean, Genie's healthy, right?
Yeah, Genie. Okay, yeah. I was just trying to think of like who would be the guy to play with them too. But we don't have John Joe Shelby anymore.
Is it crazy that Genie is maybe the first name on the team sheet right now? I mean, he's quietly putting in player of the season type performances.
Yes and no. Like he's obviously a very good player, but he's done well. But it is a bit of a shame that you're right that he is up there with player of the season contention. Not saying he's done poorly, but that just means that we're not standing out anywhere else.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I'm feeling Genie, I'm feeling Hendo, and I'm feeling Fab. Feel Fabinho comes in.
Yeah.
I thought about that, but I I didn't think I could call that. He just hasn't played very much.
Well, he's played a lot for Brazil. He's a Super Classico winner now.
Yeah,
So,
whatever that is.
we need winners in this team, and nonsensical friendlies definitely are the type of wins that earn a place in our midfield. So
This would be a good match for him to just like boss it.
I agree, and I think he'll have a lot of time on the ball just because they're so inept at the sport.
God, this could turn out bad. We have a bad game and then lose.
Yeah, then everyone steer clear of the internet at that point. All right, yeah, let's bring it back around. The final wrap up of the quickfire round that's not going so quickly. Andrew, Virgil, you think he'll play, or do you think the ribs from which?
That's literally what I've been trying to ask you, but I couldn't find a time to ask it. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm sure he'll. He's a man. He's a big, strong man. He'll play.
I think so too. I don't think these ribs are going to keep him down.
No, I think he'll play and he'll boss it.
He'll play center forward. Calling it. Throwback to Stephen Cocker.
What a weird thing that was.
Yeah. Hey, it worked. He helped Lallana score.
That's true.
Not many other people on our team have been able to do that. But yeah, I also don't think any of our other injured people are going to play at all. I don't think Mo will be fit enough. I don't think Naby will be fit enough. And I don't think Sadio will be fit enough.
Does that mean Shaqiri starts?
I do think Shaq starts. And I think Sturridge and Bobby start as well.
Okay.
Let's just go ahead and jump into score predictions. Zach, how bad do you think we're going to win this game?
Are we at home?
10?
Where's this being played?
I think we're away.
Does
Let
it
me double check.
matter? Yeah, it's away.
This is great radio. We're away?
Yeah.
I'll say 2-0 Liverpool.
Andrew?
You know, my first reaction was also 2-0. So that's what I'll go with. Sturridge, 2 goals.
All right, you cowards. I'm feeling confident. I feel like our backups are going to come in there and assert themselves, and we're going to win 8-0.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. 8-0. Okay.
Shaqiri double hat trick. Allison goal off a goal kick. Joe Gomez bicycle kick. I've never been more certain of anything in my life. All right, listeners, that will wrap it up for us this week. Let us know your score predictions at YNTA Podcast on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. Love to hear how confident you are. Love to hear what you think is wrong with our medical team, that everyone on our team breaks into thousands of pieces. So let us know, and we look forward to talking to you after this big win away at Huddersfield. Zach, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye to the people. Also to my my new friend that I met in Spain, fellow teacher from Michigan, David, who is a young Liverpool fan and is now a listener of You'll Never Talk Alone. I encourage you in your new fandom, good sir.
Yes, David. We're all here for you, especially Andrew. Andrew, why don't you say goodbye to everyone and David?
Goodbye to everyone and David.